Every story begins somewhere. Before we learned our names, before we spoke our first words, we were already being written. Our childhood isn't just a chapter. It's the blueprint of who we become, the way we love, the way we fear, the way we trust or pull away. It all begins there, in the small, invisible moments that shaped us long before we could understand them. Psychologists call it attachment, the emotional bond between a child and their caregiver. If that bond is secure, the child learns the world is safe. If it's inconsistent, they learn that love is unpredictable. If it's absent, they learn that connection is dangerous. And those lessons don't disappear. They hide inside the adult mind, shaping everything we feel and everything we fear. The science is simple, but the story is not. Our childhood brain was like wet clay, soft, impressionable, absorbing everything around it. Every word, every silence, every look became part of us. When a parent smiled, we learned that love was safe. When they yelled, we learned that love hurts. When they left, we learned that love disappears. That's not just poetry, it's neurology. Because the human brain, between birth and age 7, is in a constant state of formation. It records patterns more than facts. Not, my father was angry, but people I love can explode at any moment. And that becomes the script the subconscious mind replays for the rest of your life. When you overthink a text message, when you feel panic after conflict, when you crave validation but fear rejection, that's not weakness. It's memory, not of events, but of emotions. Your nervous system remembers every raised voice, every long silence, every door that slammed, and when something in the present feels similar, the body reacts, as if the past is happening again. This is called emotional conditioning. The child learned to protect themselves. The adult still does. Think about this. A child who grows up unseen becomes an adult who tries to earn love. A child who's punished for crying becomes an adult who hides emotion. A child who's made to feel responsible for others' moods becomes an adult who feels guilty for being happy. This is how childhood writes adulthood, not in memories, but in habits of survival. The anxious attachment becomes overthinking. The avoidant attachment becomes emotional distance. The disorganized attachment becomes chaos, pushing people away, then begging them to stay. We call it personality, but often it's just pain wearing a mask. But here's the truth psychology teaches us. We are not doomed to repeat what hurt us. Awareness is the first step to freedom. The human brain has something called neuroplasticity. It means we can rewire. We can rebuild, we can learn safety again. Just as the brain learned fear, it can learn peace. Just as it memorized pain, it can memorize love. But to do that, we must be willing to face the one thing we've spent a lifetime avoiding, our inner child. The inner child isn't some mystical concept. It's the part of your psyche that still holds your earliest emotions, your first fears, your first dreams, your first wounds. When we suppress it, we stay disconnected. When we reconnect, we begin to heal. Therapists call this reparenting. It means giving yourself the love, validation, and patience you didn't receive when you needed it most. It's not about blaming our parents, it's about understanding them. Because most of them were just children who never got to heal either. You see, the patterns of childhood don't end when we grow up. They evolve, they hide behind careers, relationships, and ambition. That's why some of us chase success, not for joy, but for approval. Why some of us sabotage love, because love once meant pain. Why we seek control, because once we felt helpless. Every argument, every insecurity, every fear of being not enough, is a ghost of childhood echoing in adult life. The past doesn't live behind us. It lives within us, and until we look it in the eye, we'll keep repeating it. No matter how old we become, but every storm eventually ends. The same brain that learned to survive can learn to thrive. The same child who felt powerless can become the adult who protects that child within. Healing isn't erasing the past, it's rewriting the meaning of it. Healing does not mean forgetting. It means remembering safely. It's the art of revisiting the past without drowning in it. Neuroscience calls this integration. When we face our memories with compassion, the brain recodes them, moving them from the fear centers of the amygdala into the calm logic of the prefrontal cortex. Each time you breathe through an old pain instead of running from it, you teach your brain a new truth. The danger is over. Breath, the oldest medicine. Every slow inhale tells your body you are safe. Every exhale releases the tension your inner child once carried. Modern psychology calls this somatic healing, the language of safety spoken to the body, not the mind. Because healing is not intellectual, it's sensory. It's felt before it's understood. Dr. John Bowlby, the father of attachment theory, once wrote, "From the cradle to the grave, we are happiest when life is organized as a series of secure attachments." To heal is to rebuild that sense of security within yourself first. Ask yourself, what did I need to hear as a child? What did I need to feel? Then give that to yourself daily, quietly, patiently. You are safe now. You are enough. You are allowed to rest. These are not affirmations. They are neuro-rewiring commands rewriting fear into safety, shame into compassion. Healing also happens in connection. Attachment wounds were created in relationship, and they're healed the same way. When someone listens without judgment, when love arrives without condition, the brain records a new pattern. Not everyone leaves. Not everyone hurts me. That's neuroplasticity in action, your biology learning safety through experience. But healing is not a straight line. It's a spiral. You'll revisit old pain, not because you failed, but because you're ready to see it from a higher place. Some days you'll feel strong, others fragile. Both are progress. Because healing isn't about becoming someone new. It's about remembering who you were before the world taught you to be afraid. Every adult carries a child they once were. Every fear, every dream, every unspoken need still lives within. And when you finally turn toward that child and whisper, "I'm here," something miraculous happens. The nervous system settles. The nightmares fade. The constant need to prove yourself begins to dissolve. Because love, real love, has finally arrived from within. Healing the child within doesn't erase the past. It redeems it. Every scar becomes proof of survival. Every tear becomes water for growth. Every silence becomes space for peace. You're not broken. You are becoming. And one day, you'll realize the pain that once defined you has become the power that guides you. The child does not disappear. They grow with you. They become your intuition, your empathy, your creativity. They remind you how to feel, how to wonder, how to trust again. And in that moment, you understand that you were never too damaged, never too late, never too far gone. Because every ending in childhood is simply an invitation. The story of who you are is still being written, and this time, you hold the pen. Begin again, consciously, courageously, completely.